Buyback Your Time is a transformational guide for entrepreneurs on how to succeed while enjoying more freedom. Serial entrepreneur Dan Martell provides strategies to help entrepreneurs manage their time better by delegating low-value tasks, allowing them to focus on high-value activities that bring them joy as well as more income. He offers innovative techniques for achieving a balance between work success and personal fulfillment, including identifying tasks that drain time, hiring the right people, and creating replicable playbooks for employees. From trouble to triumph. Dan Martell was a troubled teenager involved in criminal activities. A high-speed chase with police landed him in jail, where he met a guard named Brian who saw potential in him and encouraged him to change his ways. After serving a 6-month sentence in an adult jail because of the severity of his crimes, Martell became interested in computer programming and entrepreneurship. He taught himself programming and started several businesses, but he struggled with work-life balance, leading to failed companies and relationships. Martell realized that he needed to change his approach to business and life. He began reading business books, applied their principles, and achieved significant improvements. He sold one of his successful companies for a substantial profit, which changed his perspective on what was possible. Martell struggled with balancing his work and personal life until he discovered the concept of buying back time, investing time wisely so it can be redeployed where it matters most. This realization led him to start sharing what he had learned through blogs, speeches at conferences, YouTube videos, and eventually this book. He aims to help entrepreneurs learn how to manage their time better so they can enjoy their work while also having time for personal relationships. Overcoming entrepreneurial exhaustion. Stuart, a successful entrepreneur, experienced severe anxiety and panic attacks after overworking himself on a major project. He was successful in creating a suite of applications for small businesses, but his work ethic led him to tackle most tasks himself, resulting in extreme stress and physical symptoms. He was bedridden most days and unable to participate in video calls. Stuart tried several methods to ease his symptoms, but nothing worked. Stuart's situation is an example of the pitfalls of believing that more input equals more output. This belief can lead entrepreneurs into a cycle of busyness that doesn't equate to productivity or business success. The solution is called the buyback principle, which means that you hire not just for growth, but specifically to buy back time. By offloading tasks that they don't excel at or enjoy, entrepreneurs can focus their time on high-value activities that bring them joy and revenue. When Stuart applied this principle, he freed up 30 hours from his weekly schedule within 2 months. He became more engaged with his family and returned to the hobbies he enjoyed. Within less than a year, the revenue of his business tripled, and his panic attacks stopped. Like Stuart, entrepreneurs who continue believing that everything rests on their shoulders will eventually hit what is called the pain line. Most of them encounter the pain line when their business reaches around $1 million in revenue and 12 direct reports. The stress and workload become overwhelming, leading to physical and mental exhaustion. These entrepreneurs then realize that the more they grow, the more pain they'll experience. They often sabotage their own growth to avoid the pain, either consciously or subconsciously making poor decisions, stalling growth, or selling their business. All this can be avoided by using the buyback principle. You audit tasks that drain energy and transfer them to others who are better equipped to handle them. The freed up time can then be filled with higher value tasks that energize the entrepreneur and generate more income. This creates a buyback loop, allowing for continuous upgrading of time management throughout an entrepreneur's journey. Growth isn't just necessary for expansion, but also for survival as markets evolve due to human nature's desire for better options. Stalling growth can lead not only to customers leaving, but also to star employees seeking opportunities elsewhere. The drip matrix. In his book, The Big Leap, psychologist Gay Hendricks discusses the concept of the genius zone, where individuals apply their unique talents to tasks they excel at and enjoy, leading to increased productivity and income. However, many entrepreneurs spend their time on low-value tasks that drain their energy and yield less profit. The drip matrix is a concept that divides the tasks that you perform into 4 quadrants: delegation, replacement, investment, and production. Spending all your time in the delegation quadrant indicates that you're doing tasks that you should delegate immediately. These are the menial tasks that suck your energy. You should hire help to handle tasks that don't necessarily need your personal touch. In contrast, spending time in the production quadrant means you're doing what matters most, which is what brings you energy and money and drives your business forward. Tasks in the replacement quadrant make you a lot of money, but they drain your energy. Delegation tasks, such as administrative tasks, emailing, or research, can be transferred quickly and for little money. Replacement tasks, such as sales or marketing, will require more care and money, but you need to get rid of them to reach your full potential in the production quadrant. Finally, tasks in the investment quadrant may not generate immediate revenue, but are investments in yourself or your business. This includes taking care of your health, practicing your hobbies, speaking at conferences, or going to lunch with peers in your industry. Make sure to nourish your soul, relationships, and creativity. Avoid hiring out all the parts you enjoy doing and ending up with low-value work. No one else will care about your company as much as you do, so aim for 80% perfection when delegating tasks. If you think you can't afford to hire someone else, then consider the buyback rate, a calculation of how much an entrepreneur can afford to pay someone else based on their own hourly rate. No one should perform a task that they could outsource for 1/4 of their current effective hourly rate. Even if your buyback rate is $6 per hour, you can still provide a useful job for someone else. Interns are a great source of low-cost talent. You can also hire experts online in other parts of the world for less than $6 an hour. The more money you make, the higher your buyback rate becomes, and the more time you can buy back for yourself. Focus on tasks that not only generate revenue, but also bring personal satisfaction. For example, despite a difficult childhood and early career setbacks, Oprah Winfrey found her calling in hosting talk shows, allowing her to connect with people on a deeper level. Finding the work that energized her led to immense success and wealth. Chaos addiction. Chaos addiction is common among entrepreneurs. Many entrepreneurs coming from chaotic backgrounds are inherently equipped to handle stress and uncertainty. Yet, this predisposition may lead to self-sabotage as they struggle to thrive in calm situations or unwittingly create chaos where none is necessary. This chaos manifests itself in 5 distinct personas called the time assassins. The staller hesitates on major decisions. Conversely, the speed demon makes hasty decisions without adequate evaluation. The supervisor resorts to micromanagement or unilateral control. The saver hoards money rather than reinvesting it, and the self-medicator turns to vices as either rewards or escapes. In 2014, Martell went on a last-minute ski trip with Richard Branson, his entrepreneurial idol. Branson oversees hundreds of companies, but he was relaxed and excited during the trip. It was totally different when Martell took a trip with Lionel, an entrepreneur friend. Lionel's constant stress and preoccupation with work were stark reminders of burnout's devastating effects, even though he ran a much smaller company than Branson's. As he observed Branson's relaxed demeanor and unwavering presence throughout their trip, Martell drew invaluable insights into effective entrepreneurship. To address these destructive habits, identify your own time assassins by reflecting on your past decision-making patterns. Carrying a physical reminder of an assassin can serve as a constant cautionary note. Print a picture of a target and write in whatever assassin you're currently facing. Keep the target in your wallet or purse and carry it around with you. Mastering time. Managing time and energy is crucial for entrepreneurs. Luminaries like Richard Branson and Oprah Winfrey didn't rise to their levels of success through mere luck or privilege. They dedicated their time and energy to pursuits they were passionate about. A common pitfall for entrepreneurs is trading their precious time for money and inadvertently becoming employees of their own companies. The buyback principle is an effective way to navigate around this issue. Delegating tasks that demand a lot of your time frees up more of your own time, which can then be invested in areas that are more productive or fulfilling. Andre is an entrepreneur who found himself dedicating around 80% of his working hours to computer-aided drafting, a task he wasn't particularly fond of. Upon discussing his situation with a trusted friend, Andre decided to hire a CAD designer. This single decision dramatically freed up most of his previous working hours. The concept of time audits involves tracking how you spend every quarter hour over 2 weeks. The goal is to identify tasks that are low in value and could therefore be delegated or removed entirely from your schedule. By doing so, you can focus more on high-value tasks that are compatible with your passions and strengths. There are 3 levels of trading time and money. An employee trades their time for money. A business owner trades money for more time, while an empire builder has complete control over their entrepreneurial journey. The ultimate aim here is to progress through these levels by managing your time and energy effectively. The replacement ladder. Andy Warhol, renowned for his transformative approach to art, serves as a notable example of effective task delegation within a business model. Creating an assembly line for his artwork, Warhol engaged studio assistants and borrowed images from the public domain. He outsourced writing tasks by recording himself and hiring others to transcribe the content into books. Despite not creating each artwork personally, Warhol maintained significant involvement in production. His strategies enabled him to produce more than 85,000 pieces of art and 500 films. Like Warhol, entrepreneurs need to focus on their strengths while delegating or outsourcing the remaining tasks. The replacement ladder is a method of transitioning business operations to other people across varying stages of company growth. It has 5 rungs: administration, delivery, marketing, sales, and leadership. Each rung represents a stage where specific tasks are delegated or outsourced to make room for higher-level responsibilities. The primary objective should not simply be expanding staff numbers, but reclaiming time for essential activities by hiring strategically. This ensures entrepreneurial freedom at every stage or rung of the ladder. When you're on the administration rung, you will find yourself feeling stuck. Hiring an administrative assistant is a crucial step in managing time effectively. Entrepreneurs often fall into the trap of allowing their inbox to dictate their day, leading to distractions and a drain on their energy. Administrative assistants manage the entrepreneur's life according to their rules, not the demands of others. The assistant's role includes handling calendar scheduling and managing email, thus freeing up valuable time for the entrepreneur. Having control over your time is far more important than having control over every single task or email. You'll know you're on the delivery rung when you find yourself feeling stalled. This rung is about doing whatever you're promising to your customers. For many entrepreneurs, their company's core product or service is emotionally difficult to outsource because they're good at it and enjoy aspects of it. In that case, hire ahead of delivery and follow the 10-80-10 rule. Do the initial 10% of the work, let them execute the middle 80%, and then complete the remaining 10% yourself. The marketing rung is characterized by a feeling of friction. You can see growth, but every year you feel like an airplane that revs its engines and speeds up. But just before takeoff, it loses speed. This means you need to let go of marketing and put someone else in charge of campaigns and traffic. On the sales rung, you have someone who is responsible for administration. Another person is ensuring your product or service is delivered on time, and a trustworthy person is executing a marketing strategy that drives consistent growth. You feel free. Now it's time to offload the responsibility of sales to continue growth. You are now an empire builder. This is when you need leadership hires that run the enterprise with little involvement from you. Creating effective playbooks. Playbooks are a tool for businesses to replicate successful processes. For example, McDonald's Speedy Service System is designed for efficiency and is easily replicated in any restaurant worldwide. It includes a specific design for the kitchen and the exact choreographed movements of all the employees inside it. All successful companies have exacting specifications for their operations, and these can be documented as standard operating procedures or playbooks. Playbooks transport knowledge based on what's already been tested and verified. They offer predictability and efficiency when applied across the company, unlocking scale. Businesses should create playbooks for specific areas such as sales, marketing, and human resources. Martell has a 4-step method to create a playbook. It starts with the camcorder step, when you record yourself performing tasks. Next comes the course, when you list high-level steps for each task involved in the process. The third step is the cadence, in which you specify how often each task should be completed. The last step is making a checklist of things that must be completed every time. This approach allows businesses to train new hires efficiently. You can also delegate the creation of your playbooks. After you record yourself performing tasks, someone else can watch the videos and create the playbook. Playbooks save time by replicating processes without requiring direct involvement from business owners or managers. The power of proactivity. Reactive individuals tend to squeeze tasks into their day as they arise, leading to stress and inefficiency. In contrast, proactive people plan their days and weeks ahead, allocating specific time slots for activities based on their energy levels. This approach is similar to how airports operate with highly specific time slots for flights, which allows them to handle large volumes of passengers efficiently despite unforeseen issues. Similarly, planning can help individuals route interruptions when they occur and achieve high efficiency levels. Randomly rotating between tasks that require a different kind of headspace leads to what is called buffer time, which reactive people experience throughout their day. This is the time it takes to switch gears, and it also leads to wasted energy. When you batch similar tasks together, you can optimize productivity by staying in a flow state. Your mind focuses on similar information, and you're able to speed through with heightened productivity. Bleed time is when meetings run over or unplanned activities eat into planned work hours. A perfect week plan can eliminate both buffer and bleed times, optimize energy levels, and identify opportunities for multitasking without extra cost. Creating a perfect week plan doesn't mean rigid adherence. It means knowing what's being sacrificed when plans change unexpectedly. Planning doesn't stifle creativity. Instead, it provides more room for fun and creativity by ensuring important events are accounted for. Delegation and autonomy. Staff members need the autonomy to address issues on their own. Martell has a guideline that employees can spend up to $500 without seeking approval, while CEOs are allowed up to $5,000. Leaders need to put aside their egos to promote empowerment within their teams. The 1-3-1 rule for problem solving helps you train your direct reports to think creatively and empowers them to make decisions on their own. It entails identifying one problem, proposing 3 solutions, and making 1 suggestion. You can use the $50 magic pill as a time-saving hack. Entrepreneurs simply authorize staff members to spend up to $50 on any decision without consulting them. This allows the entrepreneur to avoid making minor decisions and focus on bigger tasks. The amount isn't important, it's the principle. Give everyone on your team an allowance that enables them to efficiently fix problems without having to get you involved. Sync meetings are another effective tool to manage time. Entrepreneurs can set up regular meetings with their administrative assistants or team members to discuss progress, review calendar events, pose personal inquiries, and delegate tasks. Definition of done is an essential element for successful task delegation, in which an entrepreneur clearly defines the expected outcome when assigning a task. The aim behind all these hacks is to promote autonomy among employees and save valuable time for decision-making leaders. Rethinking the hiring process. Seth Godin, a marketing genius, has a valuable hiring strategy. I can't work with you until I work with you. A test-first approach is the best hiring strategy. Give them a project that is representative of the actual work you will do together, pay them for it, and don't give many instructions. It's important to understand an employee's potential before investing heavily in them. You wouldn't buy a house or a car without inspecting them first. You also need to be clear about what role you're hiring for and cast a wide net to find potential candidates. Using personality tests as part of the selection process is recommended, but don't rely solely on them. At the beginning of the hiring process, candidates are selling themselves to you. Later, the same principles apply when you are selling your company. Once you know who you want, you need to sell your company to them. Do this by aligning their desires with what your company has to offer. Embracing transformational leadership. Adam, Martell's head of people, was given the significant task of making 11 hires within a quarter in 2021. Rather than dictating how Adam should approach this task, Martell offered his support and emphasized that finding a solution was Adam's responsibility. This approach is called transformational leadership. It's where leaders empower their team members to solve problems independently rather than taking on these problems themselves. Transactional management, on the other hand, is a style characterized by leaders dictating tasks and constantly checking their team's work. While this may seem efficient in the short term, it can lead to decision fatigue and hinder long-term growth. Replace transactional management with transformational leadership by setting outcomes instead of tasks, shifting responsibility onto employees, encouraging creativity, increasing capabilities, and fostering ownership of solutions among team members. Coaching is also an essential part of transformational leadership. The COACH framework involves discussing the core issue at hand, sharing an actual story related to it, and then discussing how to change for better outcomes in future scenarios. All the people within a company should have specific metrics that they can directly impact to ensure clarity and motivation. Transformational leadership requires patience, and while transactional management might initially seem easier or more productive, it can lead to employee frustration over time. Mastering the art of feedback. Failing to provide and request feedback leads to a lack of understanding and poor performance from team members. It has a detrimental impact on both productivity and employee morale. In the Great Resignation of 2021, an unprecedented number of workers left their jobs. It's an example of what can happen when communication is lacking, leading to a mass exodus of employees in search of more fulfilling work. Your employees want to find their life's purpose inside their job. They aren't just looking for ping-pong tables or better coffee makers. Martell introduces a system called Clear Steps for creating a culture where feedback flows freely. Create a warm environment for employees, lead by inviting critical feedback, and emphasize by repeating the feedback to them so they know you are listening. Ask if there's more and reject or accept the feedback with grace. Try implementing these steps with direct reports before gradually extending the practice throughout the organization. Minor issues can escalate if not immediately addressed. Leaders need to welcome dissension, as it's better to hear about issues internally than from the market. Leaders should also request honest and critical feedback before they provide any themselves, as it sets a precedent for their teams. Dreaming big. In 2003, Lane Merrifield and Lance Priebe had an idea for creating a safe online space for kids. Despite the challenges of their unconventional subscription-based business model, they were supported by their boss, Dave Crisco. He was the founder of a small marketing agency, and he basically donated his own business as the seed capital. Lane took out a line of credit on his house. Priebe worked all-nighters. They launched a beta version of Club Penguin earlier than planned due to overwhelming demand, and within 6 months, they had over 1 million sign-ups. By 2007, almost 30 million kids worldwide were using Club Penguin. To keep up with demand, the business was sold to Disney for $350 million. This is an example of dreaming big in entrepreneurship. You need to have clear but ambitious goals. Reinvest your time into meaningful activities as you start buying back time through delegation or automation. It's important to have a clear, detailed vision for your future. Big dreams should be turned into specific and actionable goals. This requires taking a step back from everyday problems to see them holistically and to increase motivation. The focus should initially be on one business before expanding into other areas or businesses. A compelling vision should include 4 detailed elements: a team, one business, an empire of multiple businesses or interests, and a lifestyle. Dream big, but also make sure your visions are specific. Prioritizing life's big moments. Stephen Covey, the famous author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, came up with the big rocks analogy to underscore the significance of prioritizing life's most important elements. During an event, Covey poured small pebbles into a bucket, symbolizing daily tasks. He asked a businesswoman to fit some larger rocks with labels like vacation and family into the same bucket. She struggled. Then he gave her an empty bucket and had her place the big rocks first, followed by the pebbles. Everything fit. By focusing on larger tasks first and then incorporating smaller ones, we can ensure that special moments aren't overlooked due to poor planning. Take a proactive approach to your year by planning a preloaded year. In a preloaded year, long-term goals are set first, followed by specific checkpoints. Tactics for each checkpoint are brainstormed and scored based on impact, confidence, and ease. High-scoring tactics become the big rocks of the year. Once these are scheduled alongside other major life events such as birthdays or anniversaries, less important but still significant events can be added in. Adhere to this plan unless an exceptional opportunity presents itself. By planning ahead like this, there is more room for spontaneity without neglecting vital commitments. Embracing the buyback principle. In his 20s, Martell realized that tasks such as cleaning and doing laundry were consuming precious time that could be spent focusing on his business. He decided to hire help, which freed up several hours each day. The concept of buying back time through outsourcing tasks dawned on him. He began identifying opportunities everywhere to trade money for more time, such as coding or website development. This approach not only served his needs, but also provided income for others. He next hired a house manager, which gave him even more time. Despite his initial hesitations about intrusions into his personal space, the positive outcomes overruled all his reservations, and he encouraged others to use the buyback principle. Challenging the traditional concept of retirement, Martell also proposes that individuals should continue working on their passions while applying the buyback principle to liberate their time schedules. When properly implemented, this principle enables individuals not only to generate greater revenue, but also to continuously upgrade their lifestyles. Everyone needs to maintain a balanced life, especially entrepreneurs who often prioritize work above all else. Invest time and energy in areas such as health, hobbies, spirituality, friendships, and love. To make sure you don't neglect your personal life, conduct regular self-assessments. Solely focusing on professional pursuits can lead to missing out on peak life experiences and the deterioration of personal relationships.